Space is not a 1/4 inch below the string, the top of the block, then what you may want to do is raise the entire string on both walls a 1/4 inch. It's much more important to have a nice straight and flat mortared first row than to have the first row the exact height of the wall. The spacing between these two blocks was on purpose. We want to be able to set the garage door opening exactly where we want it and set the outside corner of the garage wall exactly where we want it. This spacing provides for the necessary adjustment. If you notice that the crack along the wall here, there's an edge at the top. I can hook my finger on it. That's because the block is not vertical. The top of the block measures 1/3 of a bubble, with the outside higher than the inside. This is the same block after it was reversed 180 degrees. Notice how now the side is flush and the level on top shows that it's level. In fact, the level reads 1/10 of a bubble from being level. That you touch the block against the previous block and you drop it straight down on the wall. Now, this block plays fairly well. It's a 1/4 inch high and it's pretty much parallel with the string. It's parallel across the wall. So it takes very few taps to bring this block to the correct height. You can always align across the wall. Next we're going to demonstrate how to fill a gap between two blocks. Basically you get mortar on your trowel and you hold the trowel up near the bottom and you just take the striking tool and push the mortar off of the trowel into the crack. As you do this, you keep raising the trowel and keep pushing more mortar. If you stop and move the trowel, the mortar would just peel right out and roll right out of the crack. So when you get towards my ladder is a little rickety, I get a lot of amazement from people. How can I work on such a rickety ladder? But I've gotten used to it. The ladder and I move in unison and I've never fallen. And it's also setting on unstable sand, so it makes the ladder very unstable. Notice I placed the first block and it didn't check level across the wall, so I rotated it 180 degrees and in the center of balance. And that way one hand is easy to manipulate the rebar. So you climb up the ladder. When you get to the top of the ladder, you have to extend the rebar up high enough to clear the block. So it takes both hands to do this. And then you slide the rebar down through the block. Try not to bang the block any more than you have to. And you line the bottom of the rebar with the rebar coming out of the footer. Make sure that's right next to it. Then you set the top of the rebar in the center of the lintel blocks. We have the braces removed. With the poured cells, you no longer need the braces, at least not from my opinion. I've never had a problem with this method. Another close-up detail of the window rebar, showing how all the rebar interacts. When you pour the header concrete, this is a very solid window opening. Here we have a shot looking down the lintel blocks going towards the house and the people door in the garage. Notice the rebar doesn't have to be straight, it just has to be in there. The concrete will overlap it all and make one integral unit.